Hello, salutations, salut. So this is a recap. This is a summing up of the uh, book launch, and there was the stream, lots of rambling, some very good questions being asked, and a small bottle of champagne. And let's do the raffle, and I'll talk about the book because some stuff was coming up, and it was cool. So here's the raffle bucket, and let's pull out our first. Our first person is E.J. Allen at Jacob the Archer, and he's in Seattle doing fantasy, and yeah, so that's just south of the border from where I am, and I always think we get the same weather. It's his fantasy. I saw his website and his Twitter, and I saw there's this awesome shot. It's a painting. I think it's a digital painting, and it's of an archer looking down. I think, like, say from a forest, there's a tree, and looking down into say a valley. There's a lake below, and then there's mountains, misty mountains far in the background. And I think this is his fantasy that he's working on. Anyways, congratulations, EJ. You get a copy, a signed copy of Gray Hawk of Terrapin. Our next up, CM May. So this is at CMA 86. She's in Australia, and the connection there is D&D, and so those posts have been very, very cool for me. And she's got a work in progress, her first fantasy, and that's cool to see, developing the world building, coming out of Dungeons and Dragons and making it her own. So CM, congratulations. Let's see. Next up, Claire Bus. Would you say Claire Bus, or is it Claire Bus? I'm going to say Bus. At Grasshopper 2407. And she's in the UK. There's baking going on. Right. And the current fantasy that she's done is The Rose Thief, which it's humorous fantasy. I think she said that it's an homage to Terry Pratchett. So put that on your radar. Next up is Michael Thompson, and that's at M. Thompson Books, and he's in Virginia in the States. And kids books, young adult sci-fi fantasy, the world of the Orb. That's the young adult fantasy. Kids at a museum being pulled into this world, and they go on a quest. And it looks like he's working on an urban fantasy right now, but that might be top secret. Next up, T.F. Malam. This is at Trent also writes, and this is another D&D fella. Fella. What's the female for fella? Anyways, he's doing Bugbear Book 1, the Tamak Legacy, and there's a great amount of world building going on, and it's cool to see the blog posts. One I checked out was the magic, and always interesting to see different writers, different takes. And I want to say he's American, but the flavor is cosmopolitan. Next up, Mark Morgan at Ashen Kiwi, and Mark is in Illinois, in the States, and he's working on high fantasy, and some really quality posts, inspiring posts. Like of course there's different posts, but the one I saw recently was on old English words that it would be cool that we, start using again. And so it's always inspiring to see his stuff. Next up is Fifi. This is FB Marban. I think it's Marban, isn't it? This is at Clockwork Selkie. And a Selkie is a kind of mermaid, correct? She's from Dublin, Ireland, and she's currently working on a tale of the otherworld. And I know a bit about that. I think the translation would be fairy. It would be of course the Irish, they have the Gaelic, and I think it's say what are called the fairy folk are called I think it's pronounced she, but it's spelled Sidhe, and that history, heritage, tradition, it goes back to these ancestral spirits, deities in Ireland. So that's very cool, and interested to see the final product. And then finally, Judy. She's in neck of the woods here in BC, British Columbia here, and she's that's at Oddzilla Book, and sorry, I think it's Judy Renu, right? Or Judy Renu, and she's doing MG, middle grade, fantasy. I think she's working on some young adult as well, and so the Oddzilla, it's it's middle grade, I believe, fantasy, and it's this girl who believes or feels like she's a fire-breathing dinosaur, and so it's I checked out the first chapter and it was pretty cool. And we went to the same university, probably not at the same time, but it was cool to see that. All right, so thank you very much for getting involved in the raffle, and I'll be sending out the stuff immediately, fingers crossed. But yeah,